Welcome to the Scamverse, a small, absurd, and overlooked galaxy frequented by criminals, thieves, charlatans, podcast listeners, and other assorted ne'er-do-wells. This podcast includes dark humor, violence, and adult themes. Content warnings can be found in the episode description. Our tales today include Just Rewards. Can a modern frog live with her life choices? And Oswald Yedective, Yeti Detective. There's suspense on the slopes when criminals are trapped in a snowed-in ski resort with Yeti. This episode is sponsored by St. Tetanus Medical Center. Of all the things we spread, kindness is first. Just Rewards. It's the rainy season on Scamverse planet RQ-74, and that always wreaks havoc on Latimy's throat. One would think froglets would get used to the rain, but this is just her luck. Latimy trudges through downtown, dodging puddles to keep the water off her new powder blue bell-bottom slacks with matching blazer, as she makes her way to the pharmacy for cough drops. An autopod drives by and splashes water on her. Just my day. Her sore throat notwithstanding, Latimy really has very little to complain about. She has an imperfect but happy marriage, 2 beautiful daughters, and she's climbing the corporate ladder. She smirks and chides herself for complaining. Inside the Scam Farm pharmacy, it's warm and dry. Now, where are those cough drops? Found 'em. Oh, which flavor? Cricket or mealworm? I'll get both. The rain seasons are getting longer. Latimy waits in line to check out. At the counter ahead of her is a mother with a baby tadpole and 3 little froglets. They are playing tag around the mother's leg and knocking candy over from the display. The mother cannot afford all the baby food and is deciding how much to put back. Her shoulders slump, and she quietly apologizes for taking so long. Latimy taps her foot while her webbed fingers open and close into fists. When the mother and children leave, Latimy calls out, "Don't have them if you can't afford them." Latimy approaches the counter. The cashier wears thick glasses and a broad smile. "Did you find everything?" "Yeah." "Some rain today, huh? I hear this rainy season's going to be a long one." "So, you're a weather forecaster and a cashier. Your mother must be so proud." "Do you want to sign up for our customer rewards program and save 5% today?" "Wow, save 5% on a $3 purchase? How very generous, but no." "Are you sure you don't want to sign up for our customer rewards program? This is your one opportunity." "I said no. Is that too hard for you to understand?" "Let me speak to my manager." "I know." "If you're certain, madam, then please sign this refusal acknowledgement form. To be sure that I'm being clear, this is binding." Fine. There. Great customer service, you f***s. Latimy storms out of the store and pops a cough drop into her mouth. That's better. Now home. Latimy, worn out from the day, looks forward to putting her feet up. Lost in her own thoughts, she nearly trips over someone lying on the sidewalk. She's a female froglet wearing bright orange bell-bottoms with a matching top. The same style outfit Latomy has at home. Great. Now even these scumbags are wearing my style. The woman looks up with startled and pleading eyes and holds a metal cup. Latomy tosses a cough drop in the metal cup. Try getting a job, honey. Latomy arrives home to find movers taking out the last pieces of furniture. She goes upstairs into her bedroom, and her husband is throwing his clothes into a suitcase. Her skin tingles and she feels dizzy. What's going on? David, why are you putting everything into suitcases? Why is there a moving truck? What is going on? What's the matter? I just got a call from Scam Farm. They told me all about your inability to commit to others. I can't stay married to or raise a family with someone like that. David, we've been married for 12 years. Well, better to find out now than before it gets too far. I'm taking the girls and staying with my parents. Don't call us. Goodbye, Latomy. Latomy begins to protest when she sees her daughters hopping out the front door with their suitcases. Xena, her oldest, at age 8, waves goodbye.
Scare Farm gave us coloring books that showed the truth about you. You're a bad frog and not my mommy anymore.
Xena takes her younger sister's hand and they hop down the street. Don't go too far, girls. I'll be there in a second. David, you can't mean this. You did this to yourself, Latomy. Now, goodbye. Latomy's sobs echo into the empty brownstone. How could this have happened? I can fix this. I'll go back to the pharmacy and clear this up, and I'll sue that stupid cashier and manager for every penny they own. Where is that f***ing refusal acknowledgement? Fuck. They packed it with exculpatory language and release of rights. This thing looks ironclad. Well, it doesn't matter. I make good money. I can hire an excellent lawyer to get me out of this. What?
Miss Culprower?
What?
Well, the CEO wants to meet with you, immediately.
Why?
I don't know, but they said to meet them in the administrative conference room within the hour. Do you need an autopod to pick you up? I can arrange...
Do it. Now what do those want? Latomy changes out of her wet clothes and into bright orange bell-bottoms and top. She feels confident. The autopod ride and fresh air helps her focus, and she arrives at the office with minutes to spare. Latomy hops into the conference room. The company CEO and Jeremy from Human Resources are talking. They quickly hush as Latomy approaches. Well, hello, Latomy. We're so glad you could make it. Please, sit down. The CEO points to a chair at the conference table. What is this about?
First off, we would all like to thank you for all you have done for this company.
Shove it, Jeremy. I want to hear from the big boy. I'll be frank. We've received some unsettling news today. Now, I'm going to ask you a question, and I already know the truthful answer, so don't lie. But we need to hear it from you. Did you shop at Scam Farm today? Oh, this is such bullshit. I bought... Please, just answer the question. I bought cough drops today. Is that against company policy? No, not at all. And when checking out, did you have the option of saving 5%? Yes, I did. On cough drops. On $3 worth of cough drops. That comes to,
15 cents.
Yeah, Jeremy, I was getting there. I didn't say 15 cents. So what? What is the point of all this? The point is, your position in this corporation involves guiding our financial direction, does it not? Yeah, but I still don't see. We are a multi-billion-dollar corporation. So someone who cannot appreciate the value of 5%, think about the consequences. We are worth $384 billion, so 5% would be what? I guess around
19.2 billion.
Someone who cannot see the value in that amount of money cannot possibly have a future here. Oh, come on. And someone who can't see the difference between a $3 sale and a multi-billion-dollar corporation has his head up his... Latimer stands up to leave. Sit down. No. How dare you spit on me? You're done here. Pack your things. Security will escort you out. Fine, but you're firing me. I get the full severance package.
Technically, no. You just physically assaulted a corporate officer, thus breaching your contract. You forfeit severance. We will mail your last check to your home address.
Jeremy, eat my... Latimer returns home to find her brownstone sold and her possessions auctioned off. A courier hands her the final divorce decree. The court awarded David everything, including full custody of the kids. In addition, Latimer must pay all legal and court fees, which wipes out her last paycheck. I'm alone, divorced and despised by my husband, hated by my children, unemployed and without a home. I'm going to find that pharmacy cashier and manager and make them pay. Oh, they are going to pay. Latimer immediately returns to the pharmacy. What is this? The pharmacy is out of business and boarded up? She looks around for something to throw. Anything to get the anger out. She finds a small metal cup and hurls it at the building, but the cup bounces off and flies back into her hand. This little cup came back to me. It's the only thing that hasn't abandoned me. Latimer wraps the little metal cup in her bulbous green fingers and holds it to her face. The metal is cool and soothing. With her throat scratching again, she hops to a nearby building with a large awning. She slumps to the sidewalk, cradling her metal cup. Latimer is startled by a female that almost trips over her. She's about Latimer's age and wears a powder blue bell-bottom slacks and a blazer. She glares down at Latimer, tosses a cough drop into Latimer's metal cup and says, "Try getting a job, honey," and then hops off. Latimer looks into her metal cup, flicks out her sticky tongue, and takes the cough drop. The rain continues as Latimer hugs herself and weeps. The end. The moral of the story is, always sign up for customer rewards programs. And now a word from our sponsor, St. Tetanus Medical Center.
When you walk, or probably hobble or something, into St. Tetanus Medical Center, you don't just enter as a number, but you're also a revenue stream. And we at St. Tetanus value that. At St. Tetanus, we apply cutting-edge science to cutting corners. And I'm proud to announce the opening of the new St. Tetanus Center for Surgical Excellence and Crematorium. Our new surgical center is capable of billing up to 300 surgeries per day. and our dedicated team of surgery providers can't wait to see you and your inside parts. Call St. Tetanus Medical Center today to make an appointment. Don't delay, those arteries aren't going to nick themselves. St. Tetanus Medical Center.
Copayment is due at the time of service. Tipping is not required but encouraged.
Oswald Yedective, the Yeti Detective. It was a cloudy Thursday morning when regional ski champ Belinda Barley went out for practice. She wanted to get slope time in before the winter storm hit, and she would be confined to a small ski lodge. The Piste Bashers had groomed the snow well overnight, and Belinda felt confident. As she skied down the slope, something felt off. Suddenly, a colossal figure appeared. It was wearing a velour tracksuit, was at least 7 feet tall, and covered in thick, white fur. Belinda tried to dodge the beast, but her skis snapped, and she went tumbling topsy-turvy right into it. The beast caught Belinda deftly in its large, furry arms. She stared into its huge blue face. The creature's mouth hung open, showing rows of razor-sharp teeth, and its eyes widened and eyebrows shot up. Belinda looked back at the beast in equal confusion, then passed out. Belinda later awoke in her bed at the lodge. Roger, her husband, was sitting at her side. Roger wore gray striped pants with suspenders, a short-sleeved shirt, and a short green tie. He was thin in both physique and mustache. He reached for her hand. "Hey there, Lucky 18. How's my girl?"
What happened? I remembered running into an enormous beast. Oh, it was terrible. It was tall and strong and furry and reeked of aftershave. Why would it reek of aftershave, Roger? It clearly didn't shave. Why, darling? Why?
She hugged Roger tightly. He gave a small cough and looked towards the door apologetically.
Because, my dear madam, I enjoy the scent.
Standing at the door was the beast. Only now he wore a blue tailored Stefano Ricci suit with an orange Salvatore Ferragamo necktie. He held a bucket-sized glass of Merlot, his Yeti aperitif. He glanced at his dinner plate-sized pocket watch.
You have been unconscious for quite a while. I suggested you seek medical attention, but your husband declined.
Who are you?
Belinda asked as she pulled her covers up. His concerned face opened into a warm smile, but again showing sharp and well-flossed teeth.
Oh, please forgive my inferior manners. We met quite suddenly, no? I haven't introduced myself properly. I am Oswald Yedective, Yeti Detective, at your service.
Yedective bowed his large, furry head.
Oh, dear, I've been so rude. I'm Belinda Barley, and this is my husband and business manager, Roger. I'm so sorry for crashing into you like that. I don't know what happened.
Nonsense, madam. No apologies. It was fortune that found you this morning, not me. I was out for my morning constitutional when we so abruptly met. Had I not been there to carry you to this lodge, and had the storm struck while you were unconscious, I shudder to think of what would have happened. Isn't that correct, Roger?
Why, yes, my darling, my lucky 18. I'm so happy you're alive. Still. Roger's thin mustache twitched as he smiled quickly. Outside, the wind howled and the room lights flickered on and off.
I say, this squall is zestful, is it not? Perhaps I should check on the others. Pleasure to meet you both. I am sure we will see each other.
Yedective nodded and left the room.
The others?
Belinda asked.
Yes, dear. The authorities recommended we evacuate, but in your fragile medical condition, I didn't want to risk moving you. The only ones left are us, Lilith, and the lodge owner.
And Mr. Yedective. It's so fortunate he arrived when he did.
Yes, and Mr. Yedective.
Roger smiled, but only with his mouth. That evening, Mr. Oleander, the lodge owner, called everyone to dinner. As all the other guests evacuated, Mr. Oleander prepared only one table. Yedective was the first to arrive and sat on a small bench brought in for his purpose. Lilith, public relations and promotions manager, arrived next. Her large brown eyes and short, dark hair set off her ruby red lipstick. She wore a lightweight green silk satin dress with a V-neck and skinny straps. Lilith didn't walk into a room. She gracefully swished. Yedective stood to greet her, his large furry head nearly hitting the ceiling.
Such a pleasure to meet you. How long have you been working for Belinda?
Just under a year now. I met Roger at a gathering, and he hired me on the spot. I am good at uploading photos to the internet.
Technology is not my métier.
Yedective smiled.
Oh, no!
Suddenly, a scream blasted from the guest chambers. Yedective and Lilith rushed to the sound, finding Belinda and Roger taking the room apart, searching for something. Belinda was distraught.
My necklace! My lucky ski necklace! It's been stolen!
Oh, dear, madam. But perhaps it was simply misplaced, or by chance fell off during your mishap this morning?
No, neither of those, I'm afraid. I only wear it to competitions, never practice. When I'm not wearing it, I always tuck it under my mattress. As silly as it sounds, that little ritual helped me win competitions. I'm absolutely certain it was under the mattress before I left to practice this morning.
Roger tried to comfort Belinda.
Why, darling, it's not silly at all to carry a good luck charm.
He patted his own good luck necklace.
Nobody has entered this room, I am certain. The lodge staff were busy helping others evacuate, so they did not clean our room today.
Roger took a sip from his coffee mug, and Yedective noted a red smudge on the rim. Everyone searched the room, but the necklace was gone.
Oh, we have a mystery then, wouldn't you say, Lilith?
But Lilith had already left.
Perhaps we should call the police.
Belinda tried, but the storm had taken the phone lines out.
Oh, this storm,
she cried, flopping back down on the bed. The four guests reconvened a short while later at the dinner table.
So, Mr. Yedective, are you vacationing here?
Oh, no, madame. I live a short pace away. It is by fortunate chance I am here this evening with you.
Might I ask what you do for a living?
I'm retired now. I was chief detective of the Yeti Justice Council for many years. A wonderful job. But now I enjoy leisure time with friends and my morning strolls.
I should say I am thankful for your morning strolls myself.
Belinda smiled warmly. Roger's grimace did not go unnoticed by the Yeti.
And how long have you been skiing competitively?
Oh, as long as I can remember. My father was a ski instructor, so I grew up on the slopes, you may say.
Roger took Belinda's hand. Posh, it's more than that, darling. You have talent. Talent I have not seen before. My sweet, lucky 18. Roger smiled and kissed her cheek.
If I may, and I don't mean to be rude, but you've used that term, lucky 18. What does it mean?
Roger has been married 17 times before we met. The poor dear has had the worst string of luck. His 17 previous wives were all professional skiers, like me, and died in terrible accidents. Poor man. If it weren't for their life insurance payouts, he might not have endured. I am his lucky 18. Isn't that right, dear?
You are certainly very lucky, my dear. Roger eyed Yedective. Mr. Oleander, the lodge owner, came into the dining room pushing a cart.
Sorry your drinks took so long. We are short-staffed, you know.
He worked his way around the table.
Yedective, your Merlot. Lilith, your Moscow Mule. Roger, your Scotch.
He handed them each their drinks from the top shelf of the cart. Mr. Oleander then donned a laboratory apron, goggles, and thick rubber gloves. Using a long pair of beaker tongs, he carefully picked up a glass of bubbling red liquid from the bottom cart shelf. Keeping his distance from the foul substance, he set it gingerly on the table in front of Belinda.
And Belinda, your glass of water.
Belinda smiled and thanked him. Yedective watched this and sipped his Merlot. As the group dined and talked, Yedective learned that Belinda was to compete in the upcoming Quadrant Ski Championship this Saturday. Yedective continued to watch Belinda's glass of water, which was now releasing caustic clouds of smoke. Belinda picked up her glass and began raising it to her lips when Yedective quickly asked her,
This storm must have thrown off your practice schedule, no?
She set down her glass.
True, but I suppose it also affects my competition, so it's all even. However, I don't practice competing against others. I practice competing against myself.
Words of a champion, madame.
Lilith pouted.
But with Belinda not out on the slopes, Roger and I don't have time to... Ow!
Lilith gasped as Roger kicked her foot. We don't have time to complete important business matters. Lilith eyed Roger dolefully.
It won't matter either way if I can't find my lucky necklace. I know it sounds superstitious, but without my lucky necklace, I fear my performance, my career, will suffer dreadfully. And my accident this morning, oh, had you not been there to catch me, Mr. Yedective?
At that, Lilith snickered.
Sorry, but you have to admit, it must have been a funny sight when you went yeet.
I apologize, miss, but what did you say?
You know, like to throw?
Oh, I see. Oh, I apologize for my rudeness. It's just that in Yeti, the word yeet has a quite different connotation.
He laughed again and blushed, turning his blue cheeks purple. The group caught on and laughed as well. Belinda raised her glass of water to drink when the lodge door blasted open. Wind and snow barreled into the small dining room. Belinda startled and dropped her glass to the floor. The red liquid sizzled and burned the carpet, but nobody seemed to notice. The group was preoccupied with the raucous door. And who was closing it but another Yeti? This Yeti dressed casually, opting for loose-fit jeans, a hoodie, and a backpack.
Mon ami, we missed you for game night.
The Yeti smiled while he walked into the room. The fur on top of his head grazed the ceiling.
Oh, Franklin, my dear friend, I apologize for the rudeness. What you must think of your forgetful friend. And DeMarcus, oh, what he must think.
I can tell you what I think. A voice laughed from behind Franklin, who turned around. What first appeared to be a wriggling backpack was instead a baby carrier large enough for a grown man. The figure waved at the group and smiled. I travel in style these days. The man was properly dressed for the cold with a heavy winter coat, snow pants, and snow boots. It's a pleasure to meet you. I'm Captain DeMarcus of the City Police Unit. This is my friend, Officer Franklin, of the Yeti Township Justice Department. Our companion, Yedective, never misses game night. When he didn't show, we decided to see what mystery he discovered, for mystery is like candy to him. DeMarcus unhooked himself from the carrier and hopped down. Thanks for the lift, Franklin. Yedective beamed.
My friends, I am simply having the most pleasant dinner with these lovely people, but fortune smiled twice upon me today. I wished to speak to you both earlier, but the storm had taken away the phone service.
Yedective led his new companions into a separate room, where they consulted privately for quite some time. Upon their return, Belinda looked up and smiled, while Roger and Lilith hunched over and avoided eye contact. Captain DeMarcus began. It appears, I'm afraid, that mystery indeed crossed paths with dear Yedective. Roger Barley, might I see your good luck charm and necklace? Whatever for? I did nothing wrong. I won't, said Roger. However, at the sight of two large Yeti backing up the police captain, he changed his mind. Roger reached around his neck and removed a hacksaw tied to a loop of rope. Inscribed on the hacksaw handle were the words, quote, Roger's Lucky Sabotaging Hacksaw. As Captain DeMarcus examined the evidence, Yedective spoke.
After carrying Belinda to the lodge, I took the liberty of inspecting her broken skis. The broken edges were clean. You would see this if they were first scored with, say, a lucky hacksaw.
Roger opened his mouth to argue, but then kept silent. Yedective continued.
I also found this,
and held up a broken ski. Drawn next to the broken edge was a large arrow and the words, quote, Roger, this is a note to yourself. Sabotage Belinda's skis where the arrow is pointing. Use your lucky hacksaw, unquote. Belinda's mouth fell open and her eyebrows raised. Lilith laughed. That is so, Roger. If it is not on his calendar or to-do list, he would totes forget. Roger looked at the skis, then at the others, and then ran for it. Franklin quickly caught him and held him, as one would contain a raging toddler. That's right. I did it, and I would have been free. I had enough tucked aside from previous life insurance payouts for a substantial retirement just for me. Me. Roger furiously kicked and waved his arms, while Franklin gently bounced and shushed him.
Shush there, it's okay.
Lilith looked forlorn.
Roger, darling, what about us? Don't you, Roger, darling, him. He's my husband.
Belinda looked at Roger with tears in her eyes. You're not my wife. You're a payout. My lucky 18. He glared back at her. Captain DeMarcus spoke to Roger and Lilith. I'm charging you both with attempted murder. Lilith flew back. Attempted murder? All I did was steal the necklace. At that, Yedective cried.
Huzzah! The confession! Of course I had proof, but wanted you to say it.
What proof?
Lilith crossed her arms. Yedective turned to Belinda.
Belinda, did you wear makeup while skiing this morning?
No.
And you, Roger, did you put on makeup this morning?
I should say not, you oaf. Roger wiggled angrily.
Then I should find it interesting that earlier today, Roger drank from a coffee mug with lipstick on it. The exact shade of lipstick Lilith is wearing.
Lilith balled up her fists.
It's true. I stole the necklace. I thought if I could ruin Belinda's career,
Perhaps Roger would leave her for me. But I did not try to kill her. That was Roger and the owner of the lodge.
Everyone looked at Mr. Oleander, who shrugged.
What? I poison skiers. It's right there in the lodge's name.
Mr. Oleander held up a menu that said, quote, "The Poisoned Skier," unquote. The logo was a skull with crossbones made of skis. Captain DeMarcus asked Mr. Oleander, "Is it true?"
Of course.
Can I see your poisoner's permit?
Of course.
Mr. Oleander took a card from his wallet and handed it to Captain DeMarcus.
His poisoner's permit is current, so I don't see a problem. A poisoner's permit? Mon Dieu! How is that even a thing? I suggest you stop blaming others and return the necklace. You're still under arrest for theft.
Finally, the winter storm let up. Franklin and Captain DeMarcus led Roger and Lilith away to jail. Belinda was crestfallen and sat alone by the fireplace. Next to her was an untouched glass of wine, smoking and bubbling. Yedective took a nearby seat and tossed the wine glass into the fire, which erupted into a blaze. He handed Belinda a glass of wine he had poured himself, and she took a sip.
I don't know what to do. Skiing was my life, but now...
Sweet madame, I am just an old, retired detective. But might I make a suggestion?
Of course.
Don't stop skiing. Do what you love, madame, and you will make new friends. Perhaps with even a Yeti.
He smiled warmly at her, and she smiled back. Epilogue. That Saturday, at the Quadrant Ski Championship, Belinda put her heart into the competition and won handedly. Towering over others in the cheering crowd was her new friend, Oswald Yedective, Yeti Detective. The end. Our next episode will be available on July 15th with 2 stories. Rain of Blood, follow a hitman on his first day of retirement, and For Sale, Clown Shoes, Never Worn. One of these ninjas is not like the others. Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, please like and subscribe. By joining the Scamverse community, you help put the us in morally ambiguous. Thank you to Scotchy Scotty for additional voice performances, outro music by Cullah, sound effects by Pixabay, music used for background is by artists listed in the show notes. Until next time, keep your eyes on the stars and your hands on your wallets.